The sun of Korath burned bright in the sky, scattering its orange light across the bustling marketplace. Strange shapes moved in every direction. Four-legged merchants with glimmering scales, floating traders carrying glowing crates, and humans like Jared, whose curiosity seemed endless. Korath was unlike anything he had ever seen, a world alive with colors, smells, and sounds that made him feel both excited and a little out of place. Jared walked with his friends, laughing at stories of their small misadventures in the human colonies. His eyes darted to the unusual stalls. One sold crystalline fruit that hummed softly. Another offered mechanical pets that barked in tiny digital tones. But it was the tavern at the corner of the marketplace that caught his attention. A warm glow spilled from the doorway, and the sound of laughter and music drifted outside. "Come on, Jared," said his friend Milo, nudging him. "Let's grab a drink. You owe us a joke for losing the last bet." Jared grinned. "A joke, huh? Well, I think I can manage something. Interesting." Inside, the tavern was packed with aliens and humans alike. The smell of roasted protein mixed with the tang of alien spices filled the air. Creatures with scales, fur, and even tentacles sat at tables, drinking, laughing, and trading stories. Jared took a deep breath and stepped up to the counter. "You see," he said loudly enough for nearby patrons to hear, "I've decided that if I ever marry an alien, it should be the ugliest one here. That way no one can argue with me." He laughed, waving his hands dramatically. The tavern erupted in laughter, some of it polite, some curious, and some confused. Humans like Jared often joked about their own strangeness in alien worlds, but aliens usually had little sense of human humor. From across the room, a deep, rolling laugh sounded, one that made the wooden floor vibrate slightly. Heads turned and conversations hushed. Jared froze. He followed the sound and saw a massive figure leaning against a column. The being had 4 thick arms, each larger than a human's torso, and skin that gleamed like bronze in the firelight. His head was broad, with 2 bright eyes that seemed to see everything. He was enormous, intimidating, yet there was a spark of amusement in his gaze. "I like your joke," the 4-armed warrior said in a voice that could shake a mountain. "Want my daughter?" The tavern fell silent. Aliens and humans alike stared. Jared's mouth opened, but no words came out. The warrior's arms flexed casually as he leaned on the column, clearly enjoying the chaos he had caused. Jared's friends gaped at him. Milo whispered, "Did he just offer his daughter?" Jared's mind raced. I was joking," he stammered, though the words sounded small against the warrior's booming laughter. The warrior, Gorath, Jared would later learn, didn't seem to mind. "I laugh at a good joke," he said. "But your words are bold, human. Most would not dare. My daughter is no ordinary being. She is strong, smart, and full of life. Do you still want her?" Jared swallowed hard. He hadn't meant this. He hadn't even seen the daughter yet. And now he was in the middle of a marketplace full of alien witnesses with a 4-armed giant staring down at him, waiting for an answer. Maybe I should meet her first," Jared said cautiously, trying to sound confident. Gorath's laughter shook the tavern again, and some of the aliens actually jumped a little. "Wise," Gorath said. "You shall meet her. But know this, human. My daughter is not to be underestimated. She will test your mind, your courage, and your spirit. Only then will you be worthy of respect." Jared's heart pounded. Respect? Courage? Spirit? He had never expected a joke to lead here. He looked around at the curious eyes watching him, some skeptical, some amused, and felt a strange mix of fear and excitement. "Lead the way," he said, trying to keep his voice steady. I want to meet her." Gorath smiled, or what Jared assumed was a smile. 4 muscular arms crossed over a massive chest, and the warrior gestured toward the exit. "Follow me, human. Do not falter." Outside, the air was cooler, scented with Karathian flowers and the faint metallic tang of machinery. Jared walked carefully, trying not to look too small compared to the towering figure beside him. Gorath led him through winding streets past stalls, workshops, and fountains that sprayed sparkling water in intricate patterns. People stopped to watch, whispering and pointing. Finally, they reached a grand building that looked like a combination of a fortress and a palace. Massive gates opened, and Jared felt a rush of awe. The walls were engraved with glowing runes, and strange machines moved along the edges, seemingly guarding the structure. Inside, the space was bright and warm. Jared's eyes widened as he saw someone move from the shadows. A figure stepped forward. A tall alien with 4 arms similar to Gorath's but slimmer and agile. Her eyes sparkled with intelligence and her posture was proud and confident. "This is Lyra," Gorath said, his voice proud. "My daughter. She has heard of your joke." Lyra looked at Jared and raised an eyebrow, one of her 4 arms crossing over her chest. "So," she said, her tone amused but challenging, "you would marry the ugliest alien, do you?" Bold words for a human, Jared swallowed. He had expected someone unusual, maybe even frightening, but not someone so striking and capable. I didn't mean it seriously," he said. "It was just a joke." Lyra laughed, a clear musical sound. "A joke, yes, but now you are here. Words have weight on Korath. You must understand that." Jared nodded, feeling a mix of nervousness and curiosity. I want to understand. I want to learn." "Good," Lyra said, a sly smile forming. "Then we shall see if your human cleverness is more than words. Come, walk with me." They left the palace together, stepping into the bustling streets. As they walked, Lyra pointed out things that Jared had never noticed: hidden shops, secret paths, unusual plants that reacted to sound. She asked him questions too about humans, Earth, and why he traveled the stars. Jared found himself answering honestly, sometimes joking, sometimes serious. For the first time in a long while, he felt understood, not just as a human, but as someone willing to explore and adapt. At one point, they reached a small courtyard with a crystal-clear pond. Lyra stopped and turned to him. "You see, Jared, life on Korath is not about size or strength alone. It is about cleverness, respect, and heart. Do you think you have these qualities?" Jared thought carefully. I hope so. I try, and if I fail, I try again." Lyra nodded, apparently satisfied. "Good. You may be foolish, human, but there is spirit in you. We shall see how it fares." From somewhere above, Gorath's laughter echoed, reminding Jared that this was far from over. He had stepped into a world where humans were still new, where every joke and word could lead to unexpected adventures. And somehow that thought excited him more than it scared him. As the sun set over Korath, painting the sky in shades of orange and violet, Jared realized that his little joke had become the beginning of something extraordinary. He was no longer just a visitor on this alien world. He was a participant in its stories, and perhaps, he thought with a smile, in its future. For the first time, Jared felt the thrill of the unknown, and the promise that humans could be more than just strangers in a galaxy full of giants, warriors, and mysteries. The adventure had only just begun. The sun had just begun to rise over Korath, casting soft golden light across the city streets. Jared walked beside Lyra, feeling both nervous and excited. The streets were already alive with activity. Traders calling out their wares, merchants adjusting their glowing stalls, and children racing through the alleys, laughing and squealing. Humans were rare on this planet, and many watched him curiously as he followed Lyra. "Do you always bring visitors to see everything at once?" Jared asked, trying to keep his voice casual. Lyra smiled, her forearms moving gracefully as she gestured at the surroundings. "No," she said, "but you are not an ordinary visitor. You are the human who dared to joke about marrying the ugliest alien. That joke showed bravery. Or foolishness. I want to see which it is." Jared swallowed, uncertain whether he should feel proud or terrified. I guess we'll find out," he said with a nervous laugh. Lyra led him to the outskirts of the city where the terrain became wilder. Towering trees with silver leaves swayed gently in the wind. Strange flowers glowed faintly in the shade, and creatures that looked like floating jellyfish drifted lazily above the ground. Jared's eyes widened. Every step felt like stepping into a dream. "Your planet, it's beautiful," he said, staring at the glowing flora. Lyra nodded. "Korath has many wonders, but it is also a dangerous place. Many species live here, and not all are friendly. To survive, you must understand the world, not just walk through it." Jared nodded, feeling the weight of her words. He had traveled to many planets before, but Korath was unlike any he had ever seen. Its dangers were hidden beneath its beauty. As they walked, Lyra began testing him, not with weapons or strength, but with questions. "Why do humans travel the stars?" she asked. "Do you seek knowledge, power, or something else?" Jared thought carefully. "Humans, we seek many things. Knowledge, yes. Adventure, yes. And sometimes Just a chance to see what we are capable of. Lyra considered his answer, her eyes narrowing slightly. Good. Many humans only seek profit or glory. You seek more. They reached a small clearing where a river of silver water flowed. Strange creatures skimmed across the surface, leaving shimmering trails in their wake. Lyra paused and turned to Jared. Here is where your first real test begins, she said. To gain respect on Korath, you must show more than courage. You must show understanding, cleverness, and the ability to adapt. Jared's stomach tightened. A test? What kind of test? Lyra's eyes sparkled. You will see. Follow me and pay attention. Every detail matters. She led him along the riverbank to a series of rocky formations. The path was narrow, and sharp crystal shards jutted from the ground. This trail is treacherous, she explained. Many fall, many are injured. But those who are clever and careful can pass safely. Observe first, then act. Jared followed her gaze. On the rocks, patterns of light reflected in the river. The crystals were positioned so that stepping on the wrong spot would trigger a harmless but very loud alarm, alerting nearby predators. Jared nodded, focusing. He studied the patterns, noting which stones reflected light steadily and which shimmered unpredictably. Taking a deep breath, he stepped carefully. One wrong move and the alarm would blare. But he moved slowly, matching Lyra's confident stride. After several tense minutes, they reached the other side of the rocky path. Lyra turned to him, a hint of pride in her expression. Not bad, human. You observe well. But observation alone is not enough. You must also think quickly. She pointed to a large floating creature blocking their path. Its body glowed with a soft green light, and its multiple eyes studied them as it hovered silently. It had the ability to sense fear and react defensively. You must get past it without showing fear, Lyra said. How you approach it will determine your success. Jared took a deep breath. He had faced dangerous creatures before, but this one was unlike anything on Earth. He remembered her words: understanding, cleverness, adaptability. He decided not to rush. Slowly, he mirrored the creature's movements, matching its rhythm. Step by step, he moved closer, careful not to make sudden gestures. The creature seemed confused at first, but gradually relaxed. Jared exhaled quietly as he passed without incident. Lyra's smile widened. Excellent, she said. You understand patience and observation, but now we come to the challenge of trust. Ahead, a narrow bridge spanned a deep chasm. The bridge was made of thin, glowing strands that swayed with every step. Below, a river of silver light moved swiftly, threatening to sweep away anyone who fell. You must cross, Lyra explained, and I will not hold your hand. You must trust yourself and me. Jared looked down. His legs shook slightly, but he reminded himself of the path they had already taken. He focused, stepping onto the bridge carefully. Each step required balance, focus, and confidence. Lyra walked beside him, but not touching him, watching silently. Halfway across, the strand swayed dangerously. Jared's heart raced, but he remembered the lessons of observation and patience. He adjusted his weight, breathed steadily, and kept moving. Finally, he reached the other side. Lyra's eyes gleamed. Well done, human. You trust yourself. You think, you act. These are the qualities Korath values. Few humans survive this path. Jared exhaled, a grin spreading across his face. I didn't know it would be this intense. But it was. Amazing, Lyra chuckled. Good. Now you begin to understand why my father laughed when he offered me to you. He sees potential in those who can rise to challenges. Most humans, they fail before they even try. Jared looked at her, realizing how right she was. The joke that had brought him here had turned into something more. He wasn't just a visitor now. He was a participant in a world that demanded courage, intelligence, and heart. They rested beside the river for a while, watching the silver water shimmer in the sunlight. Jared shared stories of Earth, of humans traveling the stars, of the places he had seen. Lyra listened carefully, asking questions and teasing him gently when his stories sounded exaggerated. You humans are clever, she said finally. You survive where others fail because you adapt. That is why you intrigue me, Jared. You have spirit. Jared felt a warmth spread through him. He had never expected to be respected by an alien, let alone one as impressive as Lyra. And I have never met anyone like you, he said honestly. You're incredible. Lyra tilted her head, a small smile on her face. Flattery will not win my respect. But courage, thoughtfulness, and heart will, and you have shown all three today. They walked back toward the city as the sun dipped lower in the sky, painting the clouds in shades of red and gold. Jared realized that he had learned something important. Humor, while powerful, could open doors, but respect and understanding were what truly allowed humans to thrive among other species. As they approached the palace gates, Lyra turned to him. "Tomorrow, you will face another test, one that will measure your cleverness against the strength of Carathian warriors. Are you ready?" Jared nodded, determination shining in his eyes. "I will do my best." Lyra's smile widened. "Good. Do not forget what you have learned today. Observation, patience, and trust, these will guide you. And remember, human, Korath watches closely. Fail, and you will learn. Succeed, and you will gain respect not just from me but from many others." Jared felt a thrill of anticipation. The joke he had made in a tavern had led him to meet Lyra, to learn and to prove himself. What had begun as humor had turned into adventure, challenge, and growth. As night fell over Korath, the city's lights glowed like stars. Jared knew that tomorrow would be even harder, yet he felt ready. For the first time, he understood that humans could not only survive in the galaxy, they could thrive, adapt, and even gain the admiration of the most powerful beings, and so, the first steps of his true journey on Korath had begun. The next morning, the air on Korath was crisp and filled with energy. Jared felt the weight of anticipation pressing on him as he followed Lyra through the palace gates. Today he would face the ceremonial trials, challenges designed to test not only strength but intelligence, courage, and heart. These trials were legendary, often whispered about among the inhabitants of Korath. Many visitors tried them, but few succeeded. Jared glanced at Lyra, who walked confidently ahead. Her forearms moved gracefully and her eyes sparkled with amusement. "Are you ready, human?" she asked without looking back. Jared nodded, though his stomach twisted nervously. "I'll try my best." Lyra gave a small smile. "That is all anyone can ask. Remember what you learned yesterday. Observe, think, and trust yourself." They arrived at the ceremonial arena, a massive structure carved into the mountainside. Its walls shimmered with engraved runes, and strange mechanical constructs hovered silently around the perimeter. The ground was covered with smooth, polished stone, and in the center stood a platform where challengers would prove themselves. Gorath, the four-armed warrior, waited at the entrance. His expression was unreadable, but his eyes gleamed with curiosity and pride. Beside him, other Carathian spectators gathered, warriors, scholars, and nobles alike. All eyes were on Jared, the human who had dared a joke and now sought respect. "Step forward, human," Gorath commanded. "The first trial begins now." Jared took a deep breath and walked onto the platform. A loud chime echoed through the arena, and the first trial appeared before him. A large structure of floating stones arranged like a puzzle. Each stone hovered in midair, moving slightly, and some glowed with strange energy. The challenge was simple in theory. Reach the top without touching the stones that emitted dangerous energy bursts. In practice, it required keen observation, timing, and clever thinking. Jared studied the stones carefully. His heart raced, but he remembered Lyra's lessons. He observed the pattern of the glowing stones, noticing that some pulses were faster, some slower. He measured the rhythm with his eyes and waited for the right moment. Then he moved, stepping lightly from stone to stone. One burst of energy flashed dangerously close, but Jared ducked at the last moment, barely avoiding it. Slowly, carefully, he ascended, balancing with precision and focus. Finally, he reached the top. A chime rang again, signaling his success. The Carathians watching murmured among themselves, impressed. Lyra's smile widened. "Observation and cleverness," she whispered. "Well done, human." Jared felt a surge of confidence. One trial down, 2 to go. The second trial was a test of strength, but with a twist. A large Carathian warrior stepped forward, holding a heavy, glowing staff. "You must lift this staff and hold it above your head for 3 heartbeats," the announcer said. "Failure will not harm you, but will show a lack of physical capability." Jared's eyes widened. He was not particularly strong, certainly not compared to Carathians. But he remembered another lesson. Strength was not always brute force. Cleverness and strategy could matter more. He stepped forward, examining the staff. It hummed with energy and felt heavier than it looked. Jared took a deep breath and lifted it slowly. His arms shook, his muscles burned, but he focused on balance and leverage, using his legs and body to support the weight. On the 3rd heartbeat, he held it steady and then lowered it carefully. The crowd erupted into applause. Lyra's eyes glimmered with approval. "Strength comes in many forms," she said. "You have proven that humans can endure and adapt." Finally, the third trial awaited, the trial of the heart. A large cage in the center of the arena held a small, frightened creature. Its scales shimmered in soft blues and greens. The task was simple to state: rescue the creature without causing it harm or panicking it. Many Carathians could perform feats of strength or cleverness, but this trial tested empathy, patience, and care. Jared approached cautiously, crouching low to appear less threatening. The creature hissed softly, its eyes wide with fear. Slowly, Lyra's voice echoed in his mind. "Trust, calm, kindness." Jared extended a hand, speaking softly. "It's okay. I won't hurt you." The creature twitched but did not attack. Step by step, he moved closer, never making sudden motions. He studied its behavior, noticing subtle cues: a flick of its tail, a soft vibration in its throat. Using patience and understanding, he guided it toward the exit. The crowd watched silently, tension filling the arena. Some doubted that a human could pass the trial of heart, but Jared persisted. Finally, the creature leaped into his arms, calm and safe. A chime echoed, signaling success. Lyra's smile was radiant. "You see, human," she said. "The mind, the body, and the heart are all needed to gain respect. You have shown each in turn. Few beings, Carathian or not, could do this." Gorath stepped forward, his massive frame casting a shadow over Jared. "I underestimated you, human," he admitted. "Your humor brought you here, but your courage, cleverness, and compassion will carry you further. Today you have earned respect, not as a visitor, but as a worthy participant in Carathian life." Jared felt a mix of pride and relief. He had faced trials that could have broken many, yet he had relied on observation, patience, and understanding to succeed. He glanced at Lyra, who nodded approvingly. "You have spirit," she said softly. "Not all humans do. Many think they can rely only on strength or technology, but you understand the balance of mind, body, and heart. That is why you intrigue me." Jared smiled. "Thank you. I didn't expect this. I didn't expect to feel respected here, not in my first week on Korath." Lyra laughed gently. "Respect is earned, human, not given."
"Today you took the first steps."
"Tomorrow, more challenges await, challenges that may test your loyalty and wisdom even further." Jared took a deep breath, realizing that his journey was far from over. But for the first time, he felt confident. Humans had a place in this galaxy, not just surviving, but thriving, earning respect through ingenuity, courage, and compassion. The crowd around the arena began to cheer, some Carathians clapping their massive hands, others whispering in awe. Jared felt a strange warmth, the warmth of acceptance, of accomplishment, and of connection. Lyra stepped beside him. "Your joke brought you here, human," she said. "But it is your actions that will define you. Remember that. Words open doors, but deeds shape futures." Jared nodded, taking her words to heart. "I will remember, and I'll keep trying no matter what." As the sun dipped lower, painting the sky in rich shades of red and purple, Jared and Lyra walked back toward the palace. He felt a sense of peace and excitement. The trials had shown him that humans were not weak, not fragile, and certainly not insignificant. They could think, adapt, and care in ways that even the strongest Carathians respected. Gorath's laughter echoed from the palace gates, booming across the city. Jared smiled. That laughter had once frightened him, then challenged him, and now it felt like approval, a sign that he was on the right path. "Tomorrow," Lyra said as they approached the gates, "you will face a challenge unlike any you have seen. It will require trust, loyalty, and quick thinking. Are you ready for that?" Jared met her gaze steadily. "I am ready." "I will do whatever it takes," Lyra nodded. "Good. Remember, human, on Korath, humor may start a journey, but courage and heart carry it forward." Jared realized how true that was. A joke in a tavern had led him to face legendary trials, gain respect, and form a connection with Lyra, a connection that went beyond words. It was a bond built on understanding, trust, and shared experiences. As night fell and the palace lights glowed softly in the distance, Jared felt a thrill of anticipation. The trials had tested him, but they had also revealed the truth. Humans could rise to challenges that seemed impossible. They could earn respect, admiration, and perhaps even friendship in worlds far beyond their own. And so, The human who once made a careless joke now stood proud in the galaxy, ready to face whatever challenges awaited. He had proven that humor might open doors, but courage, intelligence, and heart would define him and humans like him among the stars. Tomorrow would bring the next trial, and Jared was determined to meet it head-on. The morning sun rose over Korath, casting long shadows across the palace courtyard. Jared stood at the edge of the ceremonial grounds, taking in the sight of the crowd gathered for the final challenge. The plaza was filled with Korathian nobles, warriors, and scholars, their eyes focused on him. The air hummed with excitement and curiosity. Lyra stood beside him, her forearms folded in a relaxed posture. She had guided him through the first 3 trials, but this final challenge was different. It would test everything he had learned so far: courage, intelligence, and heart, but now combined with trust and loyalty in a situation that demanded quick thinking. "You have come far, human," Lyra said softly. "This trial will not only test your skill, but also your character. Pay attention and trust what you have learned." Jared nodded. "I'm ready. I will do my best." At that moment, Gorath stepped forward. His massive frame cast a shadow across the plaza. "This trial is unlike the others," he said. "It is not only about you, Jared. It is about how you work with others, how you handle responsibility, and how you protect those who cannot protect themselves. You must save the captured Guardians without harming them or yourself." Jared's heart raced. He had seen the Guardians before, creatures of light and energy that protected Korath's people and treasures. Today, they were trapped inside a cage of floating energy, suspended above a pit of swirling crystal shards. The cage could only be unlocked by solving a series of mechanical and mental puzzles in sequence. "You understand?" Gorath asked. "I think so," Jared replied. "Observe, analyze, and act carefully." "I can do that." Lyra nodded, stepping back. "Then begin." Jared approached the first puzzle, a panel with shifting symbols that changed every few seconds. The pattern was complex, and a single mistake would trigger a defensive system, locking the Guardians further away. Jared took a deep breath. He studied the symbols carefully, noticing a sequence that repeated subtly. His fingers moved with precision, pressing the symbols in the correct order. The panel clicked, and the first part of the cage shifted open slightly. Encouraged, Jared moved to the second puzzle. This one required strength and strategy. A set of massive gears blocked the path, and they needed to be rotated in a specific pattern to align with the energy streams holding the cage in place. Jared pushed and pulled using leverage, timing, and careful observation. Each gear moved slowly, but with patience he aligned them perfectly. The cage moved closer to the ground. The final puzzle was a test of heart and trust. The last lock required Jared to synchronize his actions with Lyra's movements. Together they had to coordinate, following subtle gestures and shared understanding to release the final energy barriers. Jared looked at Lyra. "We can do this together." Lyra nodded, her expression focused. They moved in harmony, each anticipating the other's actions. The energy barriers hummed and shifted as they pressed, pulled, and rotated in sync. Finally, with a soft chime, the cage opened and the Guardians floated free. The crowd erupted into cheers, their voices echoing through the plaza. Gorath stepped forward, his eyes gleaming. "Human, you have proven yourself beyond what I imagined. You have shown cleverness, strength, patience, and heart. But more than that, you have shown trust and teamwork. These are the qualities that define respect on Korath. Today, you are not only a visitor, you are an ally, a friend, and a worthy participant in our world." Jared felt a rush of pride and relief. The trials had been difficult, but he had learned and grown through each one. He looked at Lyra, who smiled warmly. "You have done well," she said. "Not many humans could succeed. You have shown that humor may start a journey, but courage and heart carry it forward." Jared smiled. "Thank you, Lyra. I couldn't have done it without your guidance. You've taught me more than I ever expected." Lyra's smile widened. "And you have taught me too. Humans are capable of far more than we give them credit for. Today you've proven that." The celebration began immediately. Music filled the air, with strange instruments creating melodies that made the ground vibrate softly. Korathians of all shapes and sizes danced and cheered. Stalls appeared with exotic foods and glowing drinks. Children ran around with small floating creatures mimicking the challenges they had just witnessed. Gorath approached Jared, resting a massive hand on his shoulder. "You have earned more than respect today, human," he said. "You have earned friendship and trust. If you wish, my daughter's alliance is yours to pursue, not because of a joke, but because you have proven yourself worthy. Jared blinked, realizing how far things had come. What had started as a careless joke in a tavern had led him to this moment, earning the respect of one of Korath's strongest warriors and his remarkable daughter. I am honored, he said sincerely. I will not disappoint you. Lyra approached, her forearms relaxed at her sides. Words are not enough, she said. Actions matter, and today your actions have spoken loudly. Jared felt a warmth spread through him. For the first time, he truly understood the meaning of respect, friendship, and trust, not just among humans, but across species, across worlds. The festival continued into the night. Lanterns floated above the city, casting soft lights over the crowd. Jared and Lyra walked together through the celebration, watching Korathians dance, laugh, and share stories. He felt accepted, not just as a human, but as someone who could contribute to this world. At one point, Lyra paused by a fountain. The water shimmered with rainbow colors, reflecting the light of the floating lanterns. Jared, she said softly, I see why my father laughed when he offered me to you. It was not a joke, it was a test. And you passed with spirit, courage, and heart. That is why you belong here, at least among those willing to see beyond appearances. Jared smiled. I never expected my journey here to be so incredible. You, your father, this world, it's all beyond what I imagined. Lyra nodded. The galaxy is full of wonders, human. And humans like you can rise to meet them. Remember that. Humor may open doors, but respect, courage, and heart carry you through them. As the night deepened, Jared felt a sense of peace he had never known. He had been challenged, tested, and proven himself. He had earned respect, formed alliances, and learned the value of trust, patience, and cleverness. Humans, he realized, were not weak or insignificant. They were capable of remarkable things, even in worlds far from Earth. Gorath approached again, his eyes gleaming in the lantern light. You have done well, human. Lyra is wise to see potential in you. You are no longer just a visitor. You are a friend, a worthy ally, and a symbol of what humans can achieve. Jared bowed slightly, feeling the honor in Gorath's words. Thank you. I will continue to learn and prove myself worthy. Lyra joined him, smiling. And I will watch, Jared. Humans and Korathians alike can teach each other much. Today you have shown that courage, intelligence, and heart are not limited by species. You have reminded us all of what it means to be truly alive and capable. The festival continued late into the night. Jared danced awkwardly but happily among Korathians, laughed at jokes he didn't always understand, and shared stories of Earth and human adventures. He felt at home, not because the world was like Earth, but because he had earned a place in it. Before retiring for the night, Jared and Lyra stood on a balcony overlooking the city. The lanterns glowed like a million tiny stars, reflecting in the silver rivers that cut through Korath's landscape. Tomorrow, Lyra said softly, we return to daily life, but remember, today shows that humans are capable of far more than many believe. Humor may start a journey, but courage, cleverness, and heart define it. Jared nodded. I will not forget, and I will continue to prove that humans belong in the galaxy, not just as visitors, but as friends, allies, and equals. Lyra smiled, her eyes glinting in the lantern light. Then we will see more adventures together, Jared. Korath is a world of challenge and wonder, and you, human, have shown that you can meet it. As the night settled over Korath, Jared felt the thrill of a new beginning. A joke in a tavern had led him here, to respect, friendship, and adventure beyond what he had imagined. He had proven that humans could rise to challenges, earn admiration, and forge bonds across worlds. The galaxy was vast, full of unknowns and dangers, but Jared no longer felt afraid. He felt ready, for in the end he had learned that courage, cleverness, and heart were universal qualities, and wherever humans went they could rise, thrive, and leave their mark even among giants, warriors, and worlds beyond imagining. Tonight, under the lantern-lit sky, Jared realized that the adventure was only beginning.